Very well done. So now it's my pleasure to welcome our guest speaker, Clark Kendall. As a founder of Kendall Capital Management, Clark Kendall has more than 30 years of experience in investment management and wealth management strategies. He was named one of the Washington metropolitan area's top wealth managers by the National Association of Board Certified Advisory Practices in the Washington Business Journal. Clark is a former equity seat holder on the New York Stock Exchange and a member of the Washington Society of Chartered Financial Analysts. Clark currently serves as a board and executive committee member on the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce, and in June of 2014, he was honored with the Chamber's Business Advocate of the Year award. Clark is committed to serving his community. He's an active Boy Scout leader, where his son is an Eagle Scout Troop 759. In October 2014, in recognition of service to the Boy Scouts, Clark received a leadership award from the Boy Scouts of America National Capital Area Council. In addition, Clark sits on several boards and is involved with many worthy organizations, including the Olney Boys and Girls Club, where he coaches basketball, the Olney Lions, Sandy Spring Museum, and Montgomery County Estate Planning Council. Please join me in welcoming Clark Kendall. Thank you, Clark.
You gonna help me with my PR. That's great. Thank you very much, Jay, for the introduction, for the warm introduction. But I came this afternoon really to talk to my fellow scholarship recipients. That's right, I say fellow scholarship recipients because I am one of four sons of Cliff and Camille Kendall, and I was one of the first individuals to receive a scholarship. But to begin with, I want to tell you a little bit about Cliff and Camille Kendall. Camille Kendall was born in 1931. But anyway, she lived on Douglas Street in Northeast Washington, D.C. Her mother was a stay-at-home mom, and her father, with a 7th grade education, was a licensed union plumber in Washington, D.C., that helped build many of the federal buildings that surround the D.C. Mall today. In high school, Camille worked very hard. She earned the honor of valedictorian from McKinley High School in Washington, D.C. In high school, she took shorthand and typing to prepare herself for a secretarial job with the federal government after high school. Until her guidance counselor in high school asked Camille Kendall, "What's your dream?" Camille said she wanted to be a teacher. Mrs. Merrill was the guidance counselor's name, and she arranged for Camille Kendall to receive a full scholarship to Wilson's Teachers College in Washington, D.C. With a scholarship in hand and a desire to follow her dream, she took the cross-country bus every day and earned a teaching degree to become a teacher. My father, Cliff Kendall, was raised from a family with what I would say was modest means. According to the 1940 census, my father's father was a carpenter's helper. In today's term, my grandfather was a day laborer. My grandfather fought in World War II, and shortly after returning from the war, my father's parents divorced. During high school, my father worked several odd jobs to help his mother and sister make ends meet. Unlike Camille Kendall, Cliff's grades were at best, let's just say, average. During Cliff's senior year in high school, Cliff's single mother called the high school principal at Eastern High School and said, Even though my son's grades are marginal, I think he's a bright boy, and he would benefit if he was able to go to college. So the principal at Eastern High School called Cliff Kendall into his office and said he believed in him. The fact is, his mother believed in him even more. Cliff didn't receive a scholarship, but attended Wilson's Teachers College also, where he was able to seek and receive the academic help from the then-to-be Camille Kendall. That building across the quad, it's a token of his love for that academic helper. Without a scholarship, Dad worked his way through college at night, marking the railroad cars at Union Station. After 2 years, Cliff determined Camille was for him, but not teaching, so he then transferred to the University of Maryland. Quite frankly, Cliff and Camille's story is similar to many of the students in the room today. Time doesn't change the fact that everyone needs someone to believe in them. For Camille Kendall, it was Mrs. Marrow that said, "You're bright, you're smart, you can do anything you want to." For Cliff Kendall, it was his mother that pushed and a push from the high school principal that led them each to be the first ever to earn a college degree from their respective families. Way to go, Mom and Dad. In 1979, I attended JMU, James Madison University. About this time of year, JMU sent home freshman midterm academic standings. I learned after the first 8 weeks at JMU, I had earned 2 Fs, 2 Ds, and 1 C. Ooh. My father said I took after him. Quickly, I decided to call my parents and let them know what to expect in the mail. Because I had a scholarship requirement. I had to maintain that 3.0 that many of you do also. I explained the love letter they were going to receive from JMU. And my dad said to me, "I believe in you. If you fail out of school, that's okay. Come home and you can reload." He goes, "You're a smart man. You will be successful." I thought, wow, someone really believes in me. Like a good mentor, Dad went on to say, "Why don't you go talk to the professors? Why don't you go to the academic counseling center? See if they might be able to help you." One of the most important things I learned from my mentor then was that I could fail. I'd love to tell you about all my failures, but Stu and Bill have given me a time limit, so we'll go on from there. And before I go on, I want to set the record straight. I did graduate in 4 years. I never did get less than a C, and I did bring my GPA up to a 3.0. But I struggled, and I'm the first to admit. To say the least, I'm very thankful for my mentors, for the unconditional gift of love and support. I thought to myself, how can I ever pay back my parents, my mentors, for paying for my education, for believing in me, for showing me that unconditional love? Just like Camille Kendall could never repay Mrs. Marrow, her guidance counselor. Just like Cliff Kendall could never repay his mother or that principal at Eastern High School. I, like my parents, can only show my love and appreciation by paying it forward. Straight out of college, as simply as a token of my appreciation to my parents, I volunteered with the junior and high school students at my church. While I was volunteering to help others, I found that by volunteering to giving to others, I was getting to know and meet some great people. Met one person I thought was so great, I ended up marrying her. As time went on, volunteering became very addictive. Today, my closest friends are fellow Boy Scout leaders, Olney Lion members, Young Life leaders, my fellow coaches at Olney Boys and Girls Club. The point being, I started off volunteering and helping others as an opportunity to be thankful and appreciative for the so many blessings I have in my life. Now I realize that being a giver, I'm enjoying the big benefit that a giver receives. At the office where I work, when we look to hire someone, I think there are 3 key ingredients for someone to be successful at our firm. The first item is they need to have a technical skill that will benefit the overall firm. That's why you're here at University of Shady Grove, to learn that technical skill. The second thing is they need to have a career growth opportunity where that individual grows. And lastly, the most important thing we look for in an individual is they need to be a giver. They need to show us somehow they care about others, and they're giving to others with zero expectation of benefits. I call it heart. They need to have heart, simply because long-term givers are more successful than takers. Personally, I want to be successful. I want to work with other givers. It's that simple to me. Since I have the podium and I've got everyone's attention, I want to talk about money. I am in the money management business, and money is a very powerful tool. It really only takes a very little, but properly used can make a huge difference in your life and others. I don't care if you're earning $10 an hour at Starbucks or you just signed a multi-year NFL contract. Follow this simple rule. Save 10%, give 10% away, and enjoy life with 80%. Yes, $1 an hour at Starbucks adds up to real money over long periods of time. Camille Kendall's starting annual teacher salary was $3,000 per year. Give 10% to charities. That's right, 10% of your financial resources to others. I recommend you giving money to charities you're already giving of your time and your talent. You will work hard to earn your money, so make sure the charity uses it wisely. Long term, by learning to be a giver and living off only 80% of your earnings, you're changing your heart and your mind so that your success will not be derived by owning the latest cell phone or owning the fastest car. You will learn that your success and opportunity will be derived by a higher calling. Lastly, I must mention to you that you should give to the University of Shady Grove Alumni Scholarship Fund. I remind you of the pledge you signed when you accepted your scholarship. It's a simple fund. It's a simple fund of money from people like you and me that we're striving to be the next Mrs. Marrow, the next Chuck Hess. We're striving to be the next Steve Hall, the next Larry Rosenbaum, and yes, the next Camille and Cliff Kendall. We want to be the givers of tomorrow. We all receive generous scholarships and forever recognize and appreciate the gift we've received. I charge my fellow scholarship recipients to utilize 3 simple ingredients for a long and successful life. If your mentor, believer, is still alive today, write them a thank you note and let them know what a difference they have made in your life. 2, live below your means. Consume 80% of what you produce, because little sacrifices make a huge difference. And thirdly, most importantly, be a giver. Have a giver spirit like no one else. It is the secret. At the end of the day, hands down, givers are the most successful people. In closing, I'd like to share with you my thank you note for all the donors and mentors here today. And in my case, it's my mom and dad. Thank you for the generous gift of your time, talent, and money. I am a better person today because of your sacrifices that you have unconditionally given to me. Even though there's no way I could ever pay for your generosity, I will, to the best of my ability, pay it forward to make a difference in at least one person's life as much as you have for me. Thank you.